Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy H.J.Davis, Art World. I just want to bring to you something of a money saver. I went down this rabbit hole of the Marvel Essentials. Now, the reason why I have Blade of the Immortal here is just to show the thickness in these books and basically what you get as far as, the quality of art. I really do enjoy the art in this manga. I think it's amazing. And the point I want to make about purchasing comics, let's let me back up for a minute and go through something that I think a lot of people in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, even in their 60s, a lot of individuals are collecting out of nostalgia. You know, we have to remember that comics were initially made for, young boys. And when you look through the history of comics and its ups and downs, you kind of can see that it was definitely geared to the young boys. There was a time where comics was also geared for the men in war and in military and in combat, as like a news event. And when you look through old comics, you genuinely see a sense of history of where the American populace is at the time. Um, I refuse in my videos to just put stuff out there for the sake of just putting stuff out there. I usually put stuff out there because I'm one of the old YouTube guys that, like, when you go on YouTube, you're getting information about things that you can literally use productive stuff. Nowadays, it's a whole nother story. But I dare not, tread down that road of discussing the things I don't like about YouTube right now. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about art, and right now I am focusing on the comic book world of art. I would like to get into other art forms such as Frazetta, Boris, Bouguereau, all these other guys that I really do appreciate their work. Um, whether it's black and white, whether it's paints, there's a lot of stuff that I have in my collection I just want to bring forth to show you guys. But I'm also there is a concern about the money that individuals are spending. Now, I will not go out and buy a floppy, a comic book from the comic book store. Not to say that I wouldn't support a local comic book store. There was one in my vicinity, fairly close to me, and she went out of business due to the COVID pandemic. And it was a really cool comic book store. I would go up in there. I would be on route because my job is in a truck, and I do a lot of dropping off, skid steers, excavators, and stuff like that. Sometime I would be en route towards her store, and I would literally just pull in and spend like an hour or two, between you and me off the grid. And she was really cool. Older lady. She was really cool. And I'm not trying to digress. I'm just trying to let you guys kind of get in the feel of who I am as a collector. Now, the one thing I say is the reason why I won't buy a floppy in 2024, 2025, 2023, or whatever is because, one, comics was initially made for young kids. The good, the bad, the superhero, the heroic man, the beautiful woman, and at times, the damsel in distress. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I think a man's position in life is to protect, is to build, is to till, and to protect, to be in front, leading the charge, especially if it's in righteousness. But let me go on to say this. I went down this rabbit hole. I pulled back for a little bit because, as I said, you got to monitor your money. So the one thing I want to show is I got Luke Cage Power Man, volumes 1 and 2. I would say, could you guess how much I got these two for? But I want you to see the quality. They're practically um, in mint condition. Don't mind the colors. I think it's just the paper stock that they were using that sometimes they come in this like brownish color if it's coming across the screen that way. I got these two books on eBay. Put it like this. I got the camera pretty close now. I got them on eBay for $15. These two books. The quality, I really like to show like the quality in these essentials to me are amazing. And for the money, you get the whole story. I was always on the fence about Power Man. Every time I seen him, I was like, wow, that's a cool hero. I was more a Luke Cage Power Man guy than I was Falcon, than I was Black Panther. Um, I never really got into buying any of the old floppies when I used to live in New York. I used to go to Midtown Comics and I would go to the rack, and they had most of his stuff mint condition for a fairly reasonable price, not over the top. I mean, you could get some Luke Cage comic books, man, some of the originals. At that time, that was quite some years ago, for under $20. Um, and I got volume 9 of the Avengers. The reason why I got this volume, if you guys have seen any of my videos, it's because of this bad boy here, John Burns. Some of John Byrne has a sweet spot for me, so excuse me if you see me always pulling out a lot of his stuff. Um, my art style preference uh, bends towards the flow that he draws with, and like Dave Stevens, um, Mark Schultz, things of that nature. But I just want you guys to see the quality that you get. A lot of guys like, I want color. I don't mind because I'm an artist myself. I really like the black and white that you get with the comics because you can actually see more in the detail. A lot of times when the colors back then weren't really that great, so you get what the artist and the inker put down, and it'll be kind of messed up, smudged. The colors won't be, matching inside the lines and stuff like that. So as an artist, I enjoy the um, the black and whites, and this has a lot of good art in it. And that's another thing too. A lot of artists that I wouldn't really have recognized when I was back in the day reading comics, because I was really a big, this is another one of my homies, George Perez, rest in peace, brother. Um, a lot of guys that I frequently read when I was reading comics when I was younger was George Perez, John Byrne, Sal and John Buscema, stuff like that. I love when John Buscema and Sal Buscema was drawn, and you throw Ernie Chan on top of that as the inks, amazing. But short video, I forgot how much I got this for, but I think it was less than, I'm gonna say less than $40. But look at the quality. Um, Excuse me if I got off camera, but look at the quality. Look at the pages of how clean they are. And I'm not the kind of guy to say, oh, you need to go out and buy this and da da da. No, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying if you want a good story, um, let me piggyback real quick. Let me jump back and say this. The reason why I will not buy any of these newer comics, one, $6, and what are you getting? The, to me, the quality is not there. This is Bill Sienkiewicz. Um, this is volume 2. I couldn't, and that's another thing about when I'm shopping on Amazon for a lot of these essentials. I look for a good price. I'm all about the good price. I don't think that, man, amazing stuff. And I'm looking for volume 1 at a decent price because I got this for about, I think it was 15. I think this was $15. Every now and then you got to pull out a little bit more. I got the Luke Cages for $15 for just the both of them, but that was on a bid, that was on an auction, and I threw $25 in on it, and once I won it, they charged me $15, which I thought was amazing. But when you see the quality of the art in these essentials, man, and then you get that classic Marvel story from back in the day, I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I think, and the reason why I brought out the manga is because the manga seems to be taking over the market with their black and whites and the paper that they're using, the paper stock that they're using. And if you look at it, this is like, what, 500 pages or whatever that may be. for what, 20 something bucks. What, look at that, 21.99. And you're telling me you're going to go to a comic book store and spend $6, $7, $8 for comic books that the quality's not there anymore, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. The quality isn't there anymore. The storytelling isn't there anymore. A lot of I really don't want to go down this road. A lot of propaganda and a gender-driven foolishness is being put in comic books, which I think isn't fair. We need to guard the minds of the children that want to pick these books up, and even guard our own minds against things that are just really not, you know, privy to the mind to have. And then we wonder why society is in turmoil and the things that are going on, you know. And I always say, like, watch your pockets, be mindful of your wallet when you're out here spending money. I would rather go, every now and then I'll go to a comic book store, as of late, when I can get in the area, because where I live, the comic book stores are hour, 2 hours away, and like I said, it's either gas or milk. So you know you got to really be conscious of how you're spending your money on these things. And I feel for individuals that really want to get in this industry, because it's a feast of famine industry to get into, and it's not going to take care of you, like pay for your rent and all of this stuff. And that sucks, because it's a cool industry if you can get in and do the right thing. And when you go through the history of comics, it never seemed to have been a sweet spot other than the 90s, when Todd McFarlane and all of them came out, shot out of the cannon and did what they did for the 90s. And then as quick as they came out, you know, they were gone again. So not to, there's so much I really want to say, but not to just drag it out. When you're buying these comics, for me, I'm down that essential road. I'm looking for volume one. I'm also going to get volume one and two of the Defenders. A lot of books that I was reading when I was a young guy. I'm trying to get any essentials, and it's amazing because a lot of these essentials I don't really even know, because I don't keep up to steam on what's going on with Marvel and DC. But a lot of these essentials that I've been getting from eBay, people have been taking good care of these books because they've been coming in like practically brand new. So big up to those people who I've been buying these off of. And for me, it's nostalgia, because I am a grown man with kids. Two are in college. One is working towards going to college, and I am a man. I don't. They say when you were a child, you do childish things. When you become a man, you put all the childish things away. I collect these comic books for the art alone. And I wanted to put, I guess I thought it in this video because I really don't have a lot of time to make these videos, and I'm not trying to get any money from it. I have a real job, 60 hours a week, so I'm good. But I put these out for informational purposes. Um, there are a few stories in all the years that I've been collecting comics and reading comics that stand out to me. That was George Perez when he did that one. I forgot the number. And my next video, I'm gonna have these books out. I'm gonna mention them now. When Ultron uh, crashed into the Avengers mansion, and that last panel, I never forget that last panel. And I have the comic book. I purchased it a couple of years ago, and Ultron sucks Ant Man in his finger, because they have a print of what Ultron's body is, and in his finger there's like a little prison. So he sucks Ant Man in his finger at the end of the battle, and he goes, "Father," and I always remembered that scene. Another one is the X Men, the entire run of the Hellfire Club, uh, Dark Phoenix saga. That stands out to me. George Perez, Teen Titans is another one that stands out to me. And there are a few more, but I collect these out of nostalgia. And I think when you overprice, like I go on eBay, I'm trying to get John Byrne's Fantastic Four Artist Edition. And I had a good deal at one time for, I think it was like $150, but the shipping, it would have came up to be 200 and change, and I was like, man. So I had to pull back on that. And my whole thing is, This shouldn't be what it is today, a thing of money. It should be a thing of enjoyment, of entertainment, escapism, where you go, you pick up a book about I mean, this is cartoon stuff, superheroes doing heroic stuff, and you tune out and you engage in some good storytelling and you enjoy the ride. But what it is today is you'll get a floppy and there'll be like 25 variant covers, and then you'll open it up and the artwork is I don't like this to downplay a person's hard work when they draw, but the art is not up to snuff. And you'll get an Alex Ross, you'll get all of these fantastic covers that tell no stories, and you're spending all this money. Where if the parent decides to take the kid, and I think we're pushing the children away from because they can't afford it. But let me show you what I mean by covers telling stories. I want to get also Dracula. They have that in the essentials too. I want to get Dracula by Marvel Comics. You see, you see these covers. Let me put it in the frame, and let me go to another one. These Luke Cage covers are amazing. I like the artwork. Um, it's just good storytelling, man. And I miss that comic books don't really do that today. It's a bunch of us older guys pushing something that is probably dead. And because we have some money, some lunch money, we're out here pushing these comics which are really not, in my opinion, not worth the dollar. Especially if a young guy can't go in there. Especially if an elementary school kid can't walk up into a store. Because back in the day, we had diners that had magazine bookshelves and they would sell comics. All that stuff is gone. And all the American stuff that was once golden to us when I was growing up, because I was born in the 60s, 65 to be exact, it's gone. And for no other reason just to be gone. We didn't, 20 Cent, look at these covers, man. I tell you, amazing. So if you come across my videos, and then one other thing, and I know I'm ranting, there's so much I want to say, but this is not scripted. This is not a job for me. I'm just posting what I feel should be heard. Think I think the people who commented on my videos, very mature, very respectful. They understand what it is I'm trying to do as far as I get information out about the genre that I really appreciate, that I really, have a good, nostalgic feeling for. I think what we have done is we have allowed for the barbarians to enter the kingdom, and we've taken away the enjoyment and somewhat the mystery. Because when I was growing up reading the X-Men, I didn't know what John Byrne looked like. Every now and then he would draw himself, but how accurate was that? I knew of the characters in the story that I was reading. It wasn't so popularized as it is today. You go on YouTube, you got comic book artists, comic book readers, comic book collectors fighting with each other, and they're all grown men. I'm baffled by that. That's not, this is for me, this is nostalgic. When I pick up a book that I used to read when I was a kid, it brings back a sweet, grandma's apple pie, you know, in the kitchen window, and you smell it on the way there. It's like that kind of thing. It's nothing else to it. I remember reading this when I was a kid, how much I enjoyed the art, and as an artist, I appreciate the talent and the effort that was put in to do these works. Now, manga, a lot of so-called comic book artists, they shun manga. But let me tell you something, man. The work that goes into these books, the sheer artistry of what goes into these books is, for me, respected and appreciated. This is Blade of the Immortal. I have Blade of the Immortal. I have the entire series. I preferred this over the deluxe edition that Dark Horse is putting out, the bigger ones. For whatever reason, I just like the way this feels in my hand. I like the way the art looks at this scale. I have volumes 1 and 2 of the deluxe edition hardback, but I really appreciate these. So I completed the whole 10 volume run with that. And I also have the box set of Akira. But I'm going to end this video by saying this. Thank you for just hearing me rant. And there's so much I do want to say, but this isn't a profession that I am trying to master. This is just information I want to put out there. For people who are grown adults, I think we need to pull back a little bit and realize that this is not something of importance compared to what is going on in society, uh, where the banks are failing left and right. There's a bank closing down every day. The petrodollar has not been renewed by the Saudis. There is a lot of stuff that is going on, and we're being distracted with really, you know, infantile things. And I think we need to really get a grip on what is more important. These are things like when you sit down, if you like hot chocolate, if you like tea, or if you like coffee, you sit down, you had a long, hard work week, and you want to sit down and reminisce. Hey, you got it. But not 16 pages or 12 pages of nonsensical artwork that is not even done to like the scale and skill that was done back in the day for $8, $9. I think that is just, I think if you're going to speak out in the industry, speak out about that and about how adults who, if you go on YouTube, man, I'm just sick of YouTube because YouTube has just become a space for people to rant and rave at each other and give out no proper information. I miss the old YouTube where it was just like somebody threw a camera phone up and said what they felt and said this is where you get this at and this is where the and this is what and the quality this that and everything else. I miss that YouTube. This other YouTube that became a business for people to sit at home and front and lie and tell fables about things that are really not true. I don't have time for that. So I appreciate you giving me your time. Thank you very much. You know, that's time you cannot get back, and I will always say that when I put these videos out, whenever I do. So I appreciate that. I know this video was long. I wasn't really showing you much. I just wanted to show you the quality and the fact that these things are pretty much brand new. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I get an essential out of eBay, I'm like, wow, scored, you know? And the art just looks amazing. Bill Sienkiewicz, man. You can't beat that. His art his art is something to really study and look at. The guy is talented, man. He has abilities that, man, he could do whatever he wants and he experiments. And I appreciate that about Bill. Really do. I figured I'd leave you with some look at that, man. The guy is amazing. So guys, everyone have an easy day. And just think about it as a collector. I don't know how old people are that come comment on my channel, but if you're in that age that you're an adult, can we just act like it? This is just an escape to appreciate. And you spend your money on what you love, but don't overspend your money because there are people out here, they will take you for a sucker and they will put this on eBay or try to sell it for $90. And you could say, well, it's worth $90 to me. No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't spend your money like that, especially in today's economy. It's if we keep at this, we'll have no control of the front of the wagon, and prices will continue to go up, go up, go up, go up, go up, and we will be living in a new depression that I don't think people are ready for because we're jacked into a lot of technology that has made us soft. And I know I'm going on a tear, but excuse me for that. But I just wanted to let that out. When you're out here collecting these comics, let's keep it kind of fair. Because we just push the little kids to the side. And they don't know about all of these classic books like Luke Cage. They're getting the stuff from Netflix and all of that. But, you know, some of these classic comics, like what I'm just showing you guys here, you know, some of the whimsical stories in here and some of the awesome panels and ink work that's done in these books that is just really amazing. So thank you for your time. Spend your money wisely. Um, don't be a part of the nonsense that's on YouTube. And when you go out to buy a comic book or a art book, buy it because you want it and don't let nobody sucker you into overspending. Because when you flip the book around and you see the price, right here, I'm showing you the price. $16.99 US. I got two of these for $15. $15. So be wise with your money. And this is a rabbit hole that I'm gonna stay down for a little while until I collect the things that I really wanted to have. There's a couple of Avengers that I want to get. I have a Fantastic Four. I have a Hulk. So there's a few issues that remind me of my childhood when I was getting these comic books. And with that, you guys have a good day. Stay safe out here in this crazy upside down world, and be mindful of your how you feel about yourself and your neighbor. You guys take care.